Here are the headlines for our latest, hottest, and unbiased news for today.
The social audits and global clothing supply chains. Some observations will be tackled.
Global concerns and social issues in supply chain arise.
Social audits considered as a tool in an organization.
Gray argues that there can be two different categories of social audits.
The summary of SA 8000 standard was already revealed.
Code of conducts and rights in working life is now associated.
The highlights about social audit will be given an attention.
Audio Jungle.
Good day, PSBanians. This is Cindy Marie Garupa, and the truth is our priority.
And this is Canon Esteconing, and we give you justice for your curiosity. It is October 3, 2020, no Monday, and you're watching PSBA CSR TV newscast. For the details of today's news, social audits and the global supply chains, some observations will be tackled. To give us the report, here is Cindy.
The social audits and global clothing supply chains. Some observation is a study provides some preliminary insight in relation to the use of social audits by the global clothing and retail companies that source garment products from developing nations. This study focuses on the social audits as a response by global clothing retailers to wider community concerns regarding inhumane working conditions within clothing supply chains. This provides some introductory information about the use of social audits by companies within the global clothing sector. Social audits appear to be a tool for the companies to monitor working conditions and to ensure that products are made in a humane environment. Global concerns and social issues in supply chain arise. To give us the details of the report, here is Canon.
Global concerns and social issues in supply chain arise. One of the predominant is trafficking. Despite increasing international concerns, human trafficking is a very sad reality. Children, especially girls, are the most susceptible to the food labor outcomes of human trafficking. Globally, millions of children have become victims of human trafficking and have been bonded into forced labor and slavery. Based on the World Bank data 2009, international estimates show that 30 to 50% of all trafficking victims are children less than 18 years of age, and also adult women and men are victims of the said human trafficking. On the other hand, child labor is a major concern for many stakeholder groups, including investors, NGOs, media, and consumers. Whether child labor is being used in the clothing sector, coffee production sector, or mining sector, investors across the globe express great concern about this practice. Another issue of concern in global supply chain is worker health and safety. A number of intergovernmental organizations, including the International Labour Organization and the World Health Organization, have expressed their condemnation of apparent workplace health and safety breaches with the supply chains of global companies. Insufficient living wages also creates great concern for the international community and provokes labor unrest. Article 7 of the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights requires acknowledgement that wages must be sufficient to afford workers in a decent living of themselves and their families. Social audits considered as a tool in an organizations. To give us a full report, here is Cindy.
Social audits considered as a tool in an organization which an organization can plan, manage, and measure social responsibility activities and monitor both internal and external consequences of these activities. Carroll and Reller 1975 defined social audits as an attempt to measure, monitor, and evaluate the organization's non-financial performance with respect to its social policies and objectives. As they state, Social audits derive from the assumption that economic performance is being monitored and appraised elsewhere in financial audit by the firm. Gray argues that there can be two different categories of social audits. Here is Cannon to give the report.
Gray argues that there can be two different categories of social audits. The first type is conducted for management's internal control purposes and for evaluating risk, managing stakeholders, image management, public relations, seeking out economic gains and efficiencies, publicizing that the organization is living by its values, and or for maintaining legitimacy. By contrast, the second type of social audits might be performed for accountability, democratic, and sustainability purposes with the aim of benefiting society through the pursuit of an organization's objectives. The summary of SA 8000 standard was already revealed. To give us the update, here is Cindy.
The summary of SA 8000 standard was already revealed, and here are the following. Child labor. No workers under the age of 15. Remediation of any child found to be working. Forced labor. No forced labor including prison or death bondage labor. No lodging of deposits or identity papers by employers or outside recruiters. Health and safety. Provide a safe and healthy work environment. Take steps to prevent injuries. Regular health and safety worker training. System to detect threats to health and safety. Access to bathrooms and portable water. Freedom of association and right to collective bargaining. Respect the right to form and join trade unions and bargain collectively. Where the law prohibits this freedom, facilitate parallel means of association and bargaining. Discrimination. No discrimination based on race, caste, origin, religion, disability, gender, sexual orientation, union or political affiliation, or age. No sexual harassment. Discipline. No corporal punishment, mental or physical coercion, or verbal abuse. Working hours. Comply with applicable law but in any event, no more than 48 hours per week with at least one day off for every 7-day period. Voluntary overtime paid at a premium rate and not to exceed 12 hours per week on a regular basis. Overtime may be mandatory if part of a collective bargaining agreement. Compensation. Wages paid for a standard work week must meet the legal and industry standards and be sufficient to meet the basic need of workers and their families. No disciplinary deductions. Management systems. Facilities seeking to gain and maintain certification must go beyond simple compliance to integrate the standard into their management systems and practices. Code of Conduct and Rights in Working Life is now associated. Canon, what's the update there?
Code of Conduct and Rights in Working Life is now associated. Code of Conduct deals with the following areas: freedom of association and the right to collective bargaining, a ban on discrimination, salaries and remuneration, working hours, working environment, health and safety, a ban on child labor, a ban on forced labor, environmental issues management practices, and documentation.
The highlights about social audit will be given an attention. To give us the information of the report, here is Canon.
Highlights that the way social audits are undertaken by global clothing retail companies is consistent with the expectation of the broader community. However, the issue deserves concentrated research attention as social audits are a voluntary activity, possibly sometimes used only as a legitimation tool by global clothing retail companies, and one can be skeptical about whether such audits can make a real change in the working conditions that are evident within clothing supply chains. Without appropriate regulations or reinforcement of social auditing standard, the accountability and obligations of global companies to improve working conditions remains negligible.
Thank you, Canon, and that is our latest, hottest, and unbiased news for today. This is Cindy Marie Garupa, and the truth is our priority.
From BSBA CSR TV newscast team, we are hoping that everyone is in good conditions. I am Canon F. Istokoni, and this is BSBA CSR TV newscast. Have a great day.
Audio Jungle.